Hello, this is Patrick, and welcome to another Tesla Cybertruck review video. The accessory we have today is the FC9 from Hansshow, and it's a pretty cool secondary display that makes the Model S and X's secondary screen available to the Cybertruck. You install it yourself, or you can have a professional if you're uncomfortable with taking off door panels, and it gives you a lot of extra information right in your field of view, so you don't have to look too long at the center screen. It's very useful. So, like, first off, the gear, what gear you're in, if you're in forward, reverse, park, and how fast you're going, how many miles per hour or kilometers you can set it. Yeah, you can change however you want it to be. It just snaps on right in front of the squircle, and it vents so that the heat and the cooling still pass through. I've been using it for over a week now, and it, sure enough, like right in front of you, you can feel the heat. So it still works very well, even though it's on the vent. It brings Android Auto and Carplay to the Cybertruck, so you can get text messages read to you, and the mapping system. If you do Uber or Lyft driving, there's apps that are significantly more helpful that are made for those systems. For the music apps are a lot cleaner. So it gives you an option, because you can still use all the Tesla stuff, and you can use the Android Auto and CarPlay, which is really helpful. I really like it so far. I've been having a good time with it. There's multiple user interfaces that you can select from, and there is the ability to update it for newer firmware. So hopefully there'll be additional features or interfaces that you can do. As for the installation, to go into a little bit more detail on how this is done, it's not terribly complicated, but you got to be very careful and take your time. I recommend watching several videos such as this one on the details of, and maybe even the service manual on the Tesla, to see where all the little clips are. First, there's the large dash that you need to take off in order to route the cabling, and it's right behind the steering wheel and the large center screen, and you just pull it towards you, it pops out. Not any real problems with that one when you pull it towards you and then up. And then on the sides, there's a little bit of molding that you gotta pull out, and it snaps out without much of a problem. Getting to the car computer, there's one little fastener that you need to pull out, and you're able to put the pass-through of the harness on the very far left blue connector. That's not too difficult. You route your cable back through the dash, and then you'll place it back on the other side down to the ODB2, and there's a pass-through there. So you plug it into the ODB2, and then you have a secondary one for any other devices that need to use the ODB2. And there's these three little wireless Bluetooth modules. You'll connect the middle one with an H on it and stash it behind the molding here. And then you'll need to do the two doors. The screen will not come on until you have one of the doors connected. In my case, it didn't come on until I connected the driver's side door. This is where it gets a little bit more tricky. I recommend getting this tool that I show right here. This is what I'm talking about. It'll go right in here, and it'll separate everything. It allows you to pop the little fasteners out without breaking them. I did, unfortunately, break a clip or two doing this. Everything's fine. There's enough of them that it works. It doesn't rattle. There's no noise or anything like that. But be warned. Take it to a shop if you're at all like super worried about breaking the little fasteners. You can order more of them from Tesla, or potentially the whole panel if you get too carried away. But it is not for, I'd say this is a medium level install. It's a little bit more advanced than a beginner. You just got to be very careful when you pull off these panels, not to pull them too far, or you could pull out the little wires that do the lighting. I had an issue with that, and now I'm going to have to get that connector replaced for the ambient lighting on my driver's side door. But once you get to the little blue connector with the pass-through and the module, you plug it in, the screen starts working, the whole system works. The process, and I recommend watching detailed videos on getting into these doors, is the most lengthy and more tricky part that you got to be more careful on. All right, so after you get those modules in, you put the door back together and the trim back on. Everything looks good, lights up, everything works. In my experience, if it ever is out of sync, you can just do a reset on the vehicle holding in the two scroll wheels. And then when it comes back up, everything seems to be in sync and working just fine. The speed at which the AirPlay and Android Auto works great. You just need to pair it inside of your phone and on the actual device itself. There's a pretty self-explanatory settings button where you can go in and you can change a lot of the options, such as the time, the unit of speed, the themes, the brightness. Overall, if you really want that secondary screen like you have in the S and the X, this is the best option. It might be the only option that I know of, but it works really well. And I highly recommend it. Again, the install is a little bit tricky. If you don't feel comfortable, I would take it to somebody that is more comfortable with taking off like the door panels. If you'd like to get this, you can use my code Tesla Trip and you can save a pretty good amount of money on it. There's a link in the show notes below. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for more videos. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot. Goodbye. Hey!